Interesting. So, this is not an explanation video, even though I'm going to throw in some explanations. This is actually a whole new video. I just spent an hour on these 5 pages. And I actually spent 8 hours on this. I didn't spend 8 hours. Within my workday, these were questions that I asked. This was a little social experiment, per se. So I gathered up all this data for 8 hours while I was at work. In between actually working, I would ask a quick question of people. Then I come home and I rewrite all this nonsense down that I heard today for your entertainment purposes. And apparently probably to piss some people off that are just ignorant. I'm going to use the word racists, okay? And then somebody's going to be like, well, technically you can't say racist. That's why I invented a new word, and we'll get to that word at the end of the video. So, but let me address some things. So I did a Muslim video about the Muslims overtaking the world in 2025, okay? I used these numbers right here. 67% white, 17% Hispanic, and 12% black, and 8% other. Now, I said, couldn't we throw the Muslims in the 8% other category? If you're so crazy that you think Muslims are going to overtake the world in 2025, mind you, and you think that all the Muslims are going to get together, they're all going to exchange emails and phone numbers, okay, and their Facebook pages, and, you know, their Snapchats, and then they're just going to all come together in 10 years to persecute Christians. So, you know, if you're worried about that as a Christian, if you're that psychotic as a Christian, I would think it's time maybe to stop being a Christian, okay? That kind of solves that problem, doesn't it? And not just all come together in 2025, mind you, but come together underneath King Obama, who's going to have his hand on a nuclear weapon. Yes, because that is what a Christian told me, okay? So I know some of you subscribers are thinking, well, why are you repeating this? Because you got to understand, even though you're subscribed to me, this might be the first time somebody sees this video. So please keep that in mind. So it's not an explanation that I've told you 100 times. It's an explanation for why I'm doing this video, and they could go check those videos out. I have one about that. Then I have a second follow-up where people thought I was actually angry because I'm good at that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, it's 67% white, 17% Hispanic, 12% black, 8 other. You see how easy I can do that? You understand? I mean, it's 67%. See, it's called acting, okay? And I don't know how many times I have to explain that, thank you, because I like to put something in each and every individual video to make it its own and to make it entertaining, okay? So, with that said, I had somebody tell me a few things. I had a couple of people tell me a few things today, and since I decided to make this video, which is completely different, I figured I'd address some things. And then I get the same tired subscribers. They go, stop addressing trolls. So these people weren't trolls. They just said shit that I particularly didn't care for, and so I like to address that, okay? If you don't like that, what can you do? I know some of my audience already said it. What can you do? Louder, louder. That's right, you can fucking unsubscribe, okay? It's that simple. Just hit the unsubscribe button, because not once did I ever tell you in one of my fucking videos to hit subscribe or to hit like, did I? Okay? So I don't need you in the comment section bitching about you're gonna unsubscribe because you think I'm siding with one party or siding with this party or siding with the Israels or the Jews or this or that or the other thing. Some people are reading way too much into my fucking videos, okay? They're talking points. They're to get people talking and to show you how stupid things are, okay? And they're to make light of situations. They're to have fun, okay? They're to be entertaining, okay? Now with 5 minutes of that out of the way, This is going to be a long video, apparently, because I'm just rambling on. So, yeah, after I talked about netting fucking Yahoo, people's heads wanted to fucking explode, and they're like, well, you need to put yourself in their shoes. I don't need to put myself in anybody's fucking shoes. My shoes are just fine, thank you, okay? Somebody said, I'm gonna unsubscribe, because I don't give a shit. I don't care. Have I not established that I don't give a shit? That I truly do not care? I'm not even making any monies off of my video. Any money off of my video. And I'm supposed to give a shit if you unsubscribe? As soon as you unsubscribe, I get 10 other subscribers. That's how it works. That's how it works, I swear to God. Unsubscribe from me, please, and then watch the numbers. Unsubscribe from me and watch the numbers from a couple days, and then come back, okay? So, I don't care that you're gonna unsubscribe. I don't need to be in anybody's fucking shoes, okay? Every time I explain stuff, I sound like a girl. Yeah, somebody told me that. They said every time I explain stuff, I sound like a girl. Well, here's the thing. Then stop watching my fucking channel. And I told that guy, I said, well, I can fix that with one button. And then I blocked him. Yeah, I did. So there you go. That's how simple that fucking works. But let's get to the meat and potatoes of the video, guys. Okay? So, in those other videos, I talk about the 67% white, 17% Hispanic, 12% black, 8 other. Okay, and I told you in my other video, I was talking to the lowest common denominator. So when I said you could throw Muslims into the other category, people wanted to correct me and say, well, you took that from the Census Bureau, and that's not, you know, a religion, that's a race. Yes, I know, because the guy that told me that Muslims were going to overtake the world in 2025 would think that all Muslims are brown and wear rags, okay? And so obviously if I'm making a video, that's what I'm explaining. I already touched on that subject, but the reason I'm talking about that now is because when I made the follow-up video, where people thought I was mad, okay, even though I turned around and did a nerd video right afterwards, I said, well, what if I take this piece of paper out into the public and see how they react to this piece of paper? And so that's what I did. I took it to work, though. Obviously, I can't film anybody in public. I mean, I could, but I just do this stuff on my phone, so it's not like I'm going to edit it all together and all that crap. So what I did, and obviously you have to take my word on this, I asked people at work today, and these are the answers that I got, which are very alarming, okay? So what I would do is I would take this piece of paper, not this one, a smaller one, and it had the number 67% white, 70% Hispanic, 12% black, 8% other. And I would go up to them and I would say, I was told the Muslims would overtake the world in 2025. This is from the United States Census Bureau. These are the numbers. What percentage do you think Muslims fall into? And I asked 13 men and I asked 15 women. Okay? And I'd show them this. And I'd go, what do you think the Muslims, if they're going to overtake the world, what category do you think they fall into in this percentage? Because I wanted to see how many people didn't catch the fact that it's religion, not race, that this is race, okay? And so, with that said, you had 3 men that answered correctly, okay, out of 13 men. You had 1 woman that answered correctly out of the 15 women, all right? And the 1 woman that answered correctly immediately pointing out that they do not fall into the category because it's a religion, not a race. And she was actually the last person I asked at the end of the day, and she hesitated, and she goes, well, wait a minute. 67% white, 17% Hispanic, 12% black, 8% other. They wouldn't fall into that because they're a race. And I said, a race? And she corrected herself, and she goes, oh, I meant a religion. She goes, they wouldn't fall into that because they're a religion. And I said, correct. You answered it correctly. And so, out of those people that I asked this question, 1 was an Asian woman, 3 were black women, and 1 was a black guy. That leaves 11 Caucasian women, and that leaves 9 Caucasian men that I asked this question to. So keep that in mind also. 1 was in the Army Reserves, and 1 was a Marine grunt for 4 years, and 1 was a cop. The cop answered correctly immediately. One of the other gentlemen that answered correctly, he actually hesitated when I showed him the 67% white, the 17% Hispanic, and the 12% black, and the 8% other. He immediately went to the other, and then I looked at him, and he could tell I looked at him odd, and he caught himself, and then he goes, well, wait a minute. They can be in any of those numbers because it's a religion. So he caught himself. The other guy that went on to answer correctly, all right, he answered correctly, so I was like, awesome, we finally got somebody answering correctly. But after he answered correctly, let's talk about what he said immediately. He said, Muslims marry and have multiple kids, and then marry and have multiple kids, and then marry and then have multiple kids, so they could spread their seed all over the land and take control. Oh, damn it. We were almost there. We were almost there. I had 3 white guys answer the question correctly, and then one of the Fruit Loops had to say, they're fucking like rabbits so they can take over the world, okay? Even though he knew it wasn't a race, it's a religion. We were that close. So, disappointing. Then we go to, that would be a big fail, wouldn't it? I'd say big fail. Fail! Okay? So, then we go to the one black guy, who, he was just like, I don't fucking know. Okay? So, he gave a quick, good answer, which I don't know. He looked at the 67% white, he looked at 17% Hispanic, and he was like, what? That 17% Hispanic should be bigger. And he's like, 12% black, 8% other. He goes, I don't fucking know. And he went on his way. Okay? Then we had one white redneck. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why I believe he was a redneck. Because he kind of sounded like this when I asked him. I said, hey man, I was told that Muslims were going to take over the world in 2025. Okay? And I didn't even get into the batshit crazy part of that, which it's already batshit crazy, but where the guy that told me the Muslims were going to take over the world in 2025, Obama was going to be king and have his hand on a nuclear weapon. Batshit crazy. I didn't even get into that with him. I just went, hey, I heard the Muslims were going to overtake the world by 2025, and he immediately went, huh? What? Who told you that? That's the stupidest damn thing I ever heard. And so that's why maybe I think he might be a redneck, okay? And then he was like, you know what? I don't give a shit about that. And who told you that? He was mad. He was like, who told you that? And I was like, well, who told you that? Them people are on bath salts. I said, well, where do you think they would fit into that 67% white, 17% Hispanic, and 12% black, and 8% other? He's like, I don't care, because I don't follow none of that shit. And I was like, okay then, let me step away from this guy. So yeah, so that's why I thought he was maybe a redneck. So then, we go on to one of the black ladies I talked to. She said more and more are coming into the country. So right there, she's telling you she thinks it's a race, okay? Because not only did she go on to say more and more are coming into the country every day, she said, I think they would fall between 12% black and 17% Hispanic. Now, I gave people a copy of this and said, where do you think the Muslims would fall into this? And obviously, even when you're wrong, you immediately go, well, the Muslims would fall into the other, because you're thinking it's a race and not a religion, right? And so most everybody today picked other. But then you have these crackpots that just pick their own shit. And she's like, I think they would fall between 17% Hispanic and 12% black. But that's not one of your fucking options. But that's what they picked. Oh, they'd fall in there somewhere. In this little magical blue line where nothing fucking exists. At least when somebody was picking this down here, they were like, well, they'd fall into other. The Chinese fall into that. So that made sense when people picked that because they thought it was a race and not a religion. But people are just like, nope, right in here. And it gets better, okay? So one black woman said, I think Muslims fall under the 12% black. A black woman said she thinks Muslims fall under the 12% black. And she went on to say, because I only see black Muslims. That was an interesting answer. So she's not even looking at any brown people as Muslims. She's just straight looking at, I guess, her people as Muslims. That was just kind of an interesting answer. And then when I told her about the 2025 taking over the world, and she goes, well, I only see black Muslims. So I would say the Muslims fall in 12% black. And she's like, and we don't need to be taking over the world because we can't even do our finances. So that was a very interesting answer. And then someone just told me when I showed them this list, when I said 67% white, 17% Hispanic, 12% black, and 8% other, somebody was like, at the bottom. I'm like, at the bottom? And they're like, yeah, it wouldn't be any four of those, just at the bottom. At the bottom is not an option. At the bottom. So there was another interesting answer. And then one white lady went on to say, and this is probably, no, this one's not my favorite yet, but one white lady went on to say, Muslims fall into the 67% white percentage. Now, mind you, she's not thinking this is a religion. She's thinking it's a race. She's thinking Muslim is a race, yet she's still throwing the Muslims in the 67% white category. And I said, well, why are you throwing them in the white category? And she said, because 67% is way too high for Caucasians in the United States. Might be a little tone of racism. I don't know. You tell me. So here's my favorite one. This is seriously my favorite one because this one not only seems batshit crazy, but it makes no fucking sense, okay? So I asked one white lady, and she said that they fall in between the 17% Hispanic and the 12% black. The Muslims fall into this magic line right here. They don't fall into this. They don't fall into the bottom. They fall in this magical world of in between Hispanic and black. So when I ask, why do they fall in between Hispanic and black? And she said, well, because they speak a language like Spanish, but because of the Obama thing. Do you want to rewind that, or do you want me to say it again? Someone thinks Muslims fall in between 17% Hispanic and 12% black because they speak a language like Spanish and because of the Obama thing. Whatever the hell that means. So, yeah. And then we get into the racial statement, which I was debating on whether I was going to say this word or not. And then I thought, it's the internet, I'll say the word, and then somebody will just take that clip out and put it somewhere and make me look like more of an asshole than I usually look like, okay? So even though I know I put a lot of energy and passion and anger or comedy into my videos to create a product, I just decided, I just think it's best not to say this word. So I'm going to use an alternate word, and you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. So one guy said he thinks the Muslims fall in between the 17% Hispanic and the 12% black. I don't know what it is with these people and Muslims falling in between the Hispanic and the black, but he said they fall in the Hispanic and the black category. They fall in between that because they're sand dollars, okay? They're sand dollars. Because they're 17% Hispanic and they're 12% black, the Muslims would be sand dollars, if you understand what I mean by sand dollars, okay? So the Muslims are sand dollars, okay? Muslims are sand dollars. So that's why they go in between 17% Hispanic and 12% black as a race. And one lady rambled on about something about convenience stores. Do not take it out on the... No, that's wrong. Okay, I'll stop right now. And a married couple, where the wife got the question right, and the husband got the question wrong, because he picked others. Well, she answered correctly, but then they went on to say, we should have a big party, and invite the Muslims to the party on this island, and then blow up the fucking island. Well then, so even though there's only 0.8% Muslims in the United States, and some Muslims just want to have a normal fucking life, and move to the United States, and pray however the hell it is they pray, and live like normal fucking people in the United States, I don't know, maybe Fox News and their bullshit shenanigans, and some other people in political parties running their mouth about bullshit and Muslim prayer rugs at the Mexican fucking border that don't fucking exist, okay? Maybe just that kind of fucking nonsense constantly pumped out through the airwaves makes people this fucking ridiculously retarded, okay? And unfortunately, these are people I fucking work with. I cannot have an intellectual conversation with people I work with. I can't even have an intellectual conversation with my fucking girlfriend. So you know what I do? I make fucking videos to make people fucking think. Because I can't seem to have a decent conversation with folks. Because this is the kind of stupid shit people fucking believe. Okay? And with that said, God forbid I call it racism. God forbid I call it bigotry. So I made up a new word. Maybe we can all use it. And it's called bigotism. So I'm gonna label this shit bigotism. That word is awesome. Can we put it in the Urban Dictionary? Bigotism. A bunch of fucking bigotism is going on. So, with that said, take care, guys.